Yeah, I mean, I think, even just that week off can kind of slow you down a little bit. So just, yeah, I mean, any chance I can get, like, in that situation to get out there and get real football reps and get myself, into the best shape I can for the season is always helpful. So
You got to start tonight. I mean, that didn't happen last season. Is that maybe a sign of your growth, your progress, you think? Or?
yeah, I mean, for me, it's just, whatever the coaches, tell me and whatever I can do to help this team is what I'm going to do. So, whatever position they put me in is kind of, I just roll with it. So.
Bryan, I know you guys aren't being exotic on on defense, and they're not being exotic on offense, but how important is it to get those, 3 and outs and get the defense off the field on third downs?
Yeah, I mean, it's super important always. Obviously takeaways and 3 and outs are definitely the main focus for a defense. And, so when we get those, that's definitely a win for the defense. And, any way we can get them, sometimes it's not always pretty, but, whenever you're able to get a 3 and out, it's a big deal for a defense and getting the offense, kind of into a groove and, it just kind of helps the whole team, the morale. So.
You guys getting close to get the quarterback on the ground, but you couldn't quite get in there. I mean, I guess it's a frustrating thing, but I mean, you guys are in the neighborhood, so is that encouraging to be that close and figure at some point you're going to be closing out?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely sucks, when you're that close and can't get it finished. But yeah, I mean, just looking at the games and the rushes and how everyone rushed together and ran these games together, it's just it's good to see those things come clean and whether the ball gets out a little quicker than you want it to or not. It's obviously good right now to kind of have those things happen and just see how people work together. It's everything's different with different people on the field. So games are run different. All rushes are different. It just depends on who's out there. So everyone kind of getting a feel for each other, rushing and all that kind of stuff has been good for us.
Is that unique in terms of, have you ever been on a defense that there's been this many different combinations that you can throw out in terms of pass rush and have elite rushers at every spot?
Yeah, no, I mean, in college we definitely had some exotic blitzes and that stuff with Coach Venables, but this is definitely just it's different. It's a different game. So there's different packages here that we might run more often than we did in other places in college or whatever. But yeah, we have great guys all up and down the line that are all super capable of rushing the passer and getting to him. So yeah, I mean, there's different varieties of ways to get a lineman to do certain things that you want them to make rushes happen a certain way. So, yeah, just trying all that kind of stuff out and seeing what works.
I think we saw it tonight, but in case we didn't, what do you made of Cam Jordan kicking inside and playing next to him? What's that been like?
Yeah, I mean, Cam is he'll do anything that's asked of him and does it well. So, he hasn't really skipped a beat coming inside and rushing, and he's been really, really good. So, just trying to get the best guys out there to rush in whatever position it is, and kind of everyone's just having that same mindset, just doing whatever the job is that they're asked of, and that's been really, really good for the D-line.
And I know you have a full year's worth of tape, but do you find that offensive linemen are still surprised by your spin move at all?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about setting that up, So you got to do different things in order to kind of set that move up. But I try to pull it out when I hope it's going to work. And yeah, I mean, I think just setting moves up the right way, and whether it's a spin or any other move, just setting things up the right way, and that's kind of the main thing on different moves.
Forgive me for not knowing, but did you learn that at Clemson, or when did you add that to your bag?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely worked it a little bit at Clemson. I feel like it's kind of became more of one of my moves that are in the bag for me more in the NFL. So, but yeah, just working on the craft, trying to get my there's always little things to fix on it, and different steps, footwork, hand, there's just a bunch of different things that need to go right for you to be able to work that move. And I've just been really, really hammering, trying to perfect it.
Is that kind of like the natural part of playing in the NFL, figuring out what works for you, what doesn't? What is that process been like?
Yeah, definitely. And, there's always different ways to work, different moves, whether it's just a feel thing and you get too high on a rush, you need to come back, or if it's something you set up in your mind where, it's going to be your first move. But, again, just it's two different games. So there's obviously different things that work in college that don't work here. And so you got to find, whatever works for you and really perfect those couple of moves.
Another thing DA mentioned, too, was he feels like you've taken some strides as a run defender. Where have you noticed your game improved in that level?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's been a few different things. I think kind of just understanding block schemes better this year and kind of what to expect. And, You know, it comes with a lot of work on the sleds and all that kind of good stuff in practice, and you know, a lot of practice at it. You know, you can't be good at something if you don't practice it, and you know, I've kind of taken that pretty seriously this off season and into camp, just working on my run defense, and so that's been a big thing that I focused on.
Yeah, we hear coaches say, you know, one of the reasons they like doing stuff like taking camp on the road is because you get everyone kind of together. Everyone has, you know, there's less distractions. Everyone's kind of got a better opportunity to bond and come closer as a team. Just curious, obviously you had one training camp in Metairie, one training camp here. Do you feel like that has happened this off season where there's been a little bit more, you know, bonding, just everyone's a little closer?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's together, obviously, you know, constantly out here. You know, we sleep in the same spot, eat everywhere in the same spot. And but, I mean, even back in NOLA, whether it's here or there, like, you know, we'll always go do defensive line dinners together or you know, whatever it is, just to build that bond outside of just, you know, the couple hours together, the couple hours a day we're together, you know, in the facility or during practice or during meetings. So whether it's going to get dinner, going to bowl, whatever it is, you know, there's just different things that can make a bond even stronger than just, you know, inside the locker room or on the field. So.
And why is that important? Just, you know, like Tyron talks about that a lot.
Yeah.
What makes that so important for a group?
I think it builds a lot of trust between each other and just getting to spend time and really get to know your teammates and it's just a chemistry that you build that's not only at, you know, practice or in film, and it's good to see people outside and just get to spend time and not, you know, always be in that football mode when you're hanging out with them, and getting to get outside and just hang out and just, you know, just nothing, you know, just get to joke and all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely important.
Sorry if you got asked this, but the spin move, is that something you really want? You already got asked?
Yeah. No, good.
Another side you've been asked, you seem like you're playing with more speed. You seem like you're playing freer, easier. Kind of is everything clicking going into year two?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's starting to. It's obviously not completely there yet, and there's a lot of room I still have to grow. But things have definitely kind of slowed down a little bit for me, and it's allowed me to kind of play more free and just play fast.
A lot of times, you know, throughout the past couple of weeks, they talk about Chase Young adding to the defense. Kind of talk about what you add to the younger players on defense, like Christian Boyd.
Yeah, I mean, whatever I can do to help those guys out, you know, whenever there's questions, whenever, you know, I went through it last year, it's a lot to take in, you know, coming from college and you know, it's a whole new playbook, it's a whole new system, it's a whole new game. And so, you know, whatever I can do to help those guys, whether it's practice, film, you know, whatever I can do, I try to, because I had vets that did that for me. So it's just kind of a pass down thing. So, and obviously they still help him as well, and all the younger guys. So whatever I can do to help.
Have you become a better film watcher?
Say it again.
Have you become a better film watcher?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's another skill that you have to practice and really learn what you're looking at. And these older guys in the room helped me do that last year. And, you know, we go in on our off day and all watch film together. So, yeah, and you just get a better understanding of what you're looking at and what you're supposed to be watching. So,
I know it's like it's preseason and it's exhibition and everything, but is it encouraging that through 2 games you guys have been getting after the quarterback and doing it in camp? And
yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's obviously always a goal, you know, on a big third down to rush a passer, you know, whenever it is. But you know, when you're able to disrupt a quarterback, that's huge for the whole defense. You know, when the DBs don't have to cover as long, you know, whenever there's certain things you can do, and you know, on the D line, if that's rushing the passer, and you know, we've done a better job at that through these 2 games, like you said. You know, it's still preseason, but definitely something we're going to try to carry into the regular season.
I mean, like last year, just like by y'all's own standards, was not up to it.
Mm-hmm.
Is there like a point of emphasis, you know, among you guys that getting kind of back to where you've been?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, through all of camp, we've really been focusing on that and just doing different things we can, working different moves, just talking together, you know, seeing what stuff works for each other and what moves might work on this guy that you've done, and all that kind of stuff helps, just you know, talking with each other, and I think we've done a better job at that this year, just communicating and we just watching film together, like all that kind of stuff has definitely progressed from last year to now.
So like it's almost as like a chemistry thing then among the 2 lines, just kind of knowing how each other like works off each other.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so as you know, had a lot of experience, with that kind of off season of, hey, we all got to learn something new. And so one thing that I've done, from OTAs to training camp to now is, just trying to get those extra reps. One of the things I always dive in mentally and study it and learn it and that kind of stuff, but, getting those reps. So I would come out to practice early and run through the practice, 2 times. I'd run through it with my coaches, and then we'd stretch, and then we'd actually have the practice. And I just felt like getting those extra reps has helped me mentally get ready to play faster, not just to know it, but to be able to play with it.
It's only preseason. Was that 95-yard drive, was that just encouraging for you guys to be able to sort of put things together?
Yeah, I think it feels good for the coaches too, for us to execute, we had a couple explosives in there, some 4th down, young players, different guys playing different spots, but it's always hard to in the preseason because, you're just calling like the basic, stuff no one wants to show anything, but still like the competitor, and you still want to go out there and compete and, and make something happen. And so being able to go down and, get a touchdown, punch it in, it definitely was like kind of like a monkey off the back, like kind of like a relief, like, all right, we can score, so it definitely felt nice to do that.
What do you think was so effective about the run game, especially on that drive? What was working well for you guys?
It's hard to say without me seeing it because I'm booting away and not watching them. But I felt like it started at the line of scrimmage, to get the runner started. I felt like every time I was finished my boot and I would look, he was into the second level untouched, and that right there is, great job. That comes down to communication. Guys will get beat every now and then. That's the NFL, but whenever you see guys getting into the second level full speed like that, that's good communication and guys doing the right thing. So that's just what I could notice from my viewpoint.
I mean, I think, like you said a few weeks ago, that the run game was your favorite part of this offense. I mean, is that just to see it kind of crystallize? Is that kind of like an example of what you're talking about?
Absolutely. Like everything is going to be off the run game, because then it opens up the play actions, all the different stuff, the bootlegs, everything. And so, for us to, do what we want to do, that's what it starts with. And so to see that come together, that's the real cool thing about the preseason too, is like that's the time to get those live reps of the run game, because you can't cut guys. You're not really taking your guys to the ground in practice and stuff like that. So this is full tilt, real runs, and I'm sure it made the offensive line, the backs, and the tight ends feel good about what they were doing.
You gonna dial up Major League for the flight home? Or?
Yeah, for the 2 young quarterbacks. Isn't that y'all heard about that? Both of them never seen Major League. Me and Janoko making Major League references, and they're like, "Yeah, I have no idea." I'm like, that's. And one of them hasn't seen Remember the Titans, but that's a whole nother story. But
that one's even more surprising.
It's a football movie, and it's recent, Right.
Jamaal was just saying how eager he is to get home. Are you, after almost a month out here, are you ready to get?
I am. I'm ready to get back home. Yeah, I miss New Orleans, and I miss being at home. I miss my wife, miss my kids. So I can't wait. Can't wait to get back home and see them. Even though they start school, so I'll get home and I won't even see them till about 3. But it'll still be nice to be able to sleep in your own bed again. Have your own routine again. But for sure, my family's always around, so I do miss them.
Where do you feel like the timing is for just you and some of your receivers now after a few weeks, and particularly like in the games themselves? Just how does it?
I think it's good. Yeah, I think I tried my best. I was really stressing too, like throwing them on time. Not taking a second hitch or anything like that. I was really trying my best to throw those things on time, because this is the time you don't want to mess up, but it's okay to mess up. When it's the preseason, and so I was trying to throw them on time, and we had one. He almost made the play, but that's a trust throw versus press, and to get that live rep, that's real football. And so I feel very confident, with where those guys are, and as our guys continue to get healthy and adding everybody into the mix, I feel confident with those guys for sure.
Obviously disappointed that we lost the game. And like I told the guys in the locker room, it's never okay. It's never acceptable, regardless of what whether it's a preseason game or not. So we have a lot of things we have to improve on. But look, I thought there were some good things. I thought, early in the game, I thought the defense, in particular with some short fields, did some good stuff. and limited their, points on some short field situations. And then kind of once we had a chance to, get the field position a little bit better, I thought offense, they're at the end of the, or, into the first quarter and the second quarter, I thought we had a, really nice, long drive. Thought we ran the ball well in that drive. And we were able to convert that, with a red zone score, so I was really pleased with, overall what we were able to get once we kind of got, some field position. Obviously, early on in the game, we got a couple of drives where we're backed up, and it made it a little bit more challenging. I think Sed had a play that he could have made over on the sideline, would have potentially gotten us a first down that, might have, kind of got us going just a little bit. But overall, I saw some positive signs. Thought we were a little bit better up front early on. And then I thought as the game wore on, I thought our execution wasn't nearly as good as it needed to be, as we got into kind of our second and third phase with our guys, both offensively, defensively, really, and in the kicking game. And so, a lot of things that we have to get cleaned up, but I did see some things, some positive signs to try to build on.
Can you see what happened with Kool-Aid McKinstry?
He has a knee injury. I think we avoided, anything serious. Now, what kind of time we're looking at, I really have no idea. But I think we escaped that I think we escaped the game, at least on initial report, without any major injuries.
EA, was that long drive kind of how you envisioned what you want the offense to look like?
Well, look, yeah, I mean, I like our ability to be able to run the football, some play-action passing game. I think, certainly I'd like for us to be able to get some explosive plays. I know this team that we just played traditionally doesn't give up a lot of explosive plays, so I think we knew kind of going into the game, that would be kind of challenging. But in the way that we were able to run the football, on that drive, I thought that was, really, really encouraging.
What would you say about the decisions to not field punts inside the 10?
I think for the most part, I thought we probably should have fielded most of those. I think there may have been one that I thought was a good decision to let that go. And but yeah, I thought we probably could have fielded a couple of those that we didn't.
Did something happen to Dolan Hoker pregame?
He sprained his ankle pregame. Prior to really pregame, just throwing with the quarterbacks early on. So,
Dennis, can you get into what you saw out of your defensive front in those first couple drives with Purdy in the game, particularly in the pass rush?
Yeah, look, I mean, I thought early on we did some good things. I thought rushing coverage was working well together. So yeah, I mean, I think we've got some guys that I think have a chance to affect the quarterback. And I thought, from a pass coverage standpoint, obviously losing JaQuincy there early in the game, kind of changed some things, obviously with Lattimore already out and Adebo already out. But I thought overall from a pass coverage standpoint, I thought we were able to hold up pretty good.
Bresee got the start over Saunders. Have you seen something from Bresee lately that you wanted to at least get him a look there?
Yeah, look, he's done some good things. He's been, probably a little bit more improved as a run player, which I think is good. And I think, he's a guy that we got to continue to work to get him into the best football shape that he can be in, because when he's, rested and feeling good, he's a pretty good player, and so how can we get him to, be able to string together, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plays, and still, be conditioned to play at the level that we need him to. And so that was part of the reason I think, we kept him in there, for that 2-minute drive is to try to, get him some of that work.
I know you haven't looked at the film, but just initial impressions of Rattler here.
Yeah, it'd probably be unfair for me to, say. I mean, I thought there was a couple of plays there late in the game where I thought Jake did some really nice things. I thought it was a little, kind of disjointed, when Spencer was in there, and I don't think it was all his fault. I mean, the one play, the ball's on the ground on the snap, so, we'll have to go back and look at it. But, I really thought there were some good things that we did, with the first group. And yet there's some things that we have to be better at. And then I thought, after that it was, a little inconsistent and sloppy at times.
Was the plan to play those regulars 3 series, or just did you want to see how it went? On offense.
Well, look, I mean, I think we went into this game saying, we wanted to get our ones probably, quarter and a half, 15 plays, somewhere in that vicinity. When we went on the long drive offensively, I was like, let's just keep them in there and let's finish this drive, and then once we were able to finish the drive and get the touchdown, I'd seen enough of the, first wave of guys.
How much did the joint practices being canceled affect your decision on? Would you have played them even if you had the joint practices? Or did that change?
Well, look, I mean, obviously that's a hypothetical question, so I don't really know, I think you go into all these games and it's really based on what I feel like we need, and certainly I felt like where we were, that our guys needed to go in and play in a game-like situation. And so we played them. And the plan was to play them quarter and a half, 15 plays, somewhere in there. I don't remember what the final numbers came out to be, but that was kind of the thought process going in. And look, we'll go through the practices this week, and somewhere around, towards the end of the week, we'll make a decision on, who and how much we want to play in this final preseason game.
And I know it's, again, not looking at the film, but is Rico Payton kind of helping his cause maybe a little bit?
I thought he did some really good things. They tested him, threw the ball down the field on him, several times. And so, yeah, I think he's done some good things.
Yeah, you getting a feel for your team? I mean, do you have a feel for your team at this point?
Yeah, I got a better feel for them, and yet, I don't think the final verdict's out yet in terms of what we got, or what we're going to be. I know what we're building towards, and I like a lot of the things that I see. I like a lot of things that I'm feeling from our group. And yet there's some things that I think we still got to improve on.
You mentioned here about, getting away and the bonding that occurs between a team when you're kind of in these sequestered situations, be at the end of the trip. Do you feel like that's happened to the level you hoped it would?
Yeah, look, it's been good. It's been really good. I think we got a close team. I think we got a close group. So I like that part of, where we're at.
You mentioned the starting position that the 49ers had. What did you kind of make of the punting game tonight?
I think they won the punting battle. I think they did a better job of, pinning us down than we were able to do. So that's what I thought.
I think we just getting chemistry, and that's all. Just really just getting chemistry and just moving the ball together. So things just coming together. It just take time. So.
Do you think that can be kind of an important part of your offense, or the identity of your offense? The way, that third drive that you guys had, it was 10 runs on a 16-play drive. Just
Yeah, run it. Run the ball. Yeah, we ready. That's all. Run the ball. That's it.
You guys, you know, long stay out here in California. Did you accomplish what you guys wanted to, and are you eager to get back home?
Say it again.
You had a long stay out here in California.
Yeah, never in my life have I ever stayed in a hotel for over a month. So
Are you eager to get home?
yeah, my mental is done. But I'm having fun with my team and everything. But I'm ready to go and see my cats. Honestly, I got cats, and I know they are going crazy right now, wondering where their dad is at. So I'm ready to get home. Honestly.
Do you feel like you guys were able to bond out here for extended part though? Like, did that play any difference? Like, do you feel closer to your team now than maybe you did, I don't know, a few months ago?
My personal opinion, we could have did this in New Orleans, but you do what you need to do for your teammates, and then, I mean, we all together anyway, so it's just we going through it together, so we good.
What'd you make of some of the runs that Taysom was able to rip off?
Yeah, it was good runs. Like he getting down the hill, just running down, pad level, just what he does. So like just give him a little lane, let him do his thing. So, but he a great runner, doing his thing. Like he's just a great athlete. So you give him those opportunities, he's gonna take them.